everyone, and welcome to this week's Collective Illumination Reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance, or better said, to find where you fit. All right, well, welcome everybody. So this is a collective reading that I'm doing for the week. I will also be releasing the specific sign readings for April coming up. I do have the dates posted on my YouTube channel, so if anybody wants to check that out. Otherwise, though, this is going to be a reading where we take a look at the energies of the week. So we're going to pull some cards here to take a look at first what's kind of the overarching theme for this week. What's the energy we're all being asked to engage with? Oh, and we have victory. And actually, I was holding the deck upside down, so that did not come out reversed. So we have victory, number 28. Breaking down to a 10, further breaking down to a 1. What a beautiful energy to start the week with. Victory, I'm getting the feeling of the Six of Wands coming through, which is a card that in the tarot really brings forward the Leo energy, success through kind of heart-centered endeavors. But there is this feeling of, I think this week, just what I'm intuitively picking up is almost like the speed, the momentum, starting to move forward. And really us stepping into that place of like, finally, finally I'm seeing some motion. Finally, I'm stepping into a place possibly of where maybe I felt a little stuck, or I felt like I wasn't being seen in some capacity, that I feel like this energy is really coming forward to say, okay, things are starting to pick back up again. Wherever you've been stuck, there's going to be kind of almost like a clearing of the energy and a victory, whether it's an internal victory or whether it's an external victory, meaning either you mastered something within yourself, you have some beautiful clarity coming through, either on a mental or emotional level, or in your external environment, you might actually be experiencing this literally, where you are having a piece of information come through or a circumstance come into your experience that allows you to feel this sense of victory, whether it's a job opportunity or somebody lets you know something that kind of, again, allows you to connect better with your path. So I love that. I'm going to go ahead now and pull a card for timing. So we're going to see kind of what's going on right now. What should we kind of be focusing on this week? Aside from the beautiful energy of victory. And I love that 28 breaks down. So first of all, 28 as a number, it combines the number 2 and the number 8 together, which is an element of working together, but also standing within your own power. And with it breaking down to a 10 and then further breaking down to 1, there's also kind of the interplay between endings and beginnings as well, kind of understanding where you in the collective fit in as the universal I. So there's a victory there almost over self, of this clarity within. We're in Aries season, which really speaks to this, of gaining clarity on the I and stepping from a place of empowerment into that, but also not doing it in a way that's going to, let's say, create disbalance, or disbalance is not even a word, create imbalance. And, you know, with the number 2 coming in, there's that little bit of the really having to kind of maintain balance, looking at two sides, but knowing yours. So we have beautiful for timing, we have regeneration, number 46, also breaking down to a 10 and further breaking down to a 1. So this is really interesting in that this really feels like a month of coming back to the start, but coming back to the start through the ending of something, through kind of, again, this victory of something is starting from what perhaps had been kind of stuck or stagnant, or that we had to leave behind. And so this week is all about growing something new, regenerating yourself. It is moving into the energy of spring, and there is that feeling of we get to see around us. Well, those of you who are in the northern hemisphere, we get a chance to see what had kind of died away during winter or lay dormant. We now get to see all of the little shoots and the sprouts and the what had kind of been hiding under the scenes, so to speak. And I really feel like this week is a week for all of us to collectively start to kind of come out and be like, here I am. This is what I've been kind of hiding behind the scenes or working on. I'm actually going to read the little message that goes with this, because the timing is very key to how we experience us connecting with our free will with destiny, meaning that when we kind of start to get into the flow of energy and flow of the timing of things, it's easier for us to engage with, when we know the energy, it's easier for us to engage with it. And it's easier for us at that point then to feel more in flow and to feel like we can actively keep our eyes out for specific types of opportunity that we might have otherwise missed if we're not kind of understanding the flow of destiny around us. I hope that made sense for you guys. So let's take a look here. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. So number 46, regeneration. It says essential meanings: rebirth, second chances, and new opportunities. I'm almost getting the feeling of the Ace of Wands coming through here. So we have the Oracle's message. It says, second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead or now revived are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being placed. I'm sorry guys, I can't read today. It's now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. Wow. Okay, well, this is interesting that I was speaking to destiny. So I really do feel like we're moving into a place now of, if we choose to be courageous and really, step up and engage authentically as this new version of I am, and we show ourselves for who we are, that there are going to be these opportunities for second chances, or for us to do something perhaps that we've always wanted to do. And with that is the beautiful energy of victory. So, I mean, this is a really dynamic week. I am loving this reading. All right, and so for the final card here, before I pull some clarifiers, I'm going to pull a card to kind of help us take a look at ourselves and the energy of love, and really what we should be focusing on as we start this journey of showing our kind of new growth, this fresh start, and as we are really leaning into that feeling of victory over something, over starting something fresh in our lives. Let's see, what do we all need to know about the energy of love? And this can be self-love, it can be romantic love, but we're just going to kind of look in general at what we should expect for this week. So we have rest and relaxation is essential. It says we all have a fundamental need to take a break, and it's number 42, which breaks down to a 6, which is the number that represents the energy of love, which I love this. So there's a feeling of self-love coming through here. And there's a feeling of almost like as the wheels get turning in our favor, and as we start to kind of come back out and grow, that we have to realize we need to pace ourselves. That when we think of something growing, it doesn't grow just all at once. I mean, there are obviously some plant species out there that can literally, like overnight, sprout, grow, and bloom, but those are few and far between. For us as human beings, we can do a lot, but we also have to kind of keep in mind that when we start to regrow, we're not just regrowing on a physical level. We are regrowing on the multiple planes of our existence, on a mental level, on an emotional level, and on a spiritual level as much as our physical. And when all of those things are in this period of regeneration, of rebirth, we have to allow all those parts of ourselves to acclimate. And the way to do that is through rest. That's why we have to sleep a certain amount of hours within the day, because otherwise we then kind of lose our ability to have mental clarity, and we lose our ability to kind of stay emotionally grounded and stable. And so there is this feeling here of really understanding that, of giving yourself that space, of loving yourself, stepping into the energy of also allowing others to have that space as well, so that whatever they need to do to kind of rest and relax, give them that space to do so as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull some clarifiers here for these cards just to see if any additional messages want to come out. These may be more specific messages, so if they do not apply to you or resonate with you, you know, you can just take the general energies here. All right, so what do we need to know about victory? Ooh, okay, so we have two cards, one that came up and one that came face down. So we have Two of Cups, which came out upright, which is lovely. And this really defines coming together in relationships with others on equal footing and on an emotional equal footing. Coming with your Ace of Cups, which is really actually your cup that is always full of unconditional love from the divine, and coming towards others who have that same level of a full cup. So there is a victory over here in what I see as personal connection. Now this could mean that you are growing closer with people in your life, that in sharing more of yourself, you get to attract more people that actually, again, can come and meet your cup equally. What came up face down was the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is truly actually kind of a rest and relaxation card. It's one of reflection and meditation, and it's one where we contemplate on the wounds of the past, and in those we find what is our truth and what we can release and walk away from. So things that kind of plague us on a mental level that might actually prevent us from connecting on a equal footing with others. So there is something here about the victory is realizing what you can let go of and moving forward with your sword of truth in this kind of victorious feeling to connect with others free of the wounds of the past. Really beautiful energy. Okay. Now I'm going to pull some clarifier cards here for regeneration. And actually, no, I'm going to use a different deck just so that we can have all the cards available. So let's see. Okay, we have Seven of Coins. Seven of Coins, and we have Two of Coins and Seven of Cups. Okay, so Seven of Coins is actually a card that really lines up well with regeneration. There's a feeling here with the Seven of Coins of having a chance, kind of a divine pause to take a step back from and take a look at what you are growing, basically. But in this, connected to regeneration, it's basically what are you growing as part of yourself, and for you to step back and to kind of reconnect with spirit, to tap back into that emotional core within yourself, to then take a look at on your physical level, what have you been working towards and what has it kind of reaped for you? What has grown in the physical from where you've put your energy up to this point? And then to sit with spirit to kind of say, like, is this what I want to show to the world? Was this what I was intending to grow? Is this where I want to continue to feed my regeneration? So it would be kind of like us taking a look at this plant that's growing, and we see that it's kind of blue, has some blue flowers and some green shoots, and we will take a look at that and say, you know, I don't like the color blue. I don't like those flowers, and I'm gonna, in this moment, knowing that I'm regrowing, I'm gonna change something a little bit about this. Or it could be the total opposite. You could step back and take a look and say, wow, this is who I am. This is me. The timing is right. This is a perfect way for me to express who I am, and I'm proud of the fact that I have blue flowers. Because then we have Two of Coins and Seven of Cups, and this is kind of the juggling of the day-to-day tasks of having to prioritize, feeling, I think, a little busy, and the Seven of Cups, which is it's the counterpart to what I was saying here with the Seven of Coins. This is where we are kind of taking stock of options that we have, but on an emotional level of, does this emotionally fulfill me? Does this emotionally fulfill me? Do I see something in here that I can emotionally connect to? So there is going to be a little bit of this feeling this week as we are stepping up into that, kind of getting in the flow with allowing the regeneration to start, this kind of fresh version of ourselves to start to show our, shoots, so to speak, that we may feel a little busy and we may feel like we don't quite understand if we're emotionally connecting or not, but that the busyness, the chaos a little bit from having to prioritize throughout the week is gonna get the better of us. And what this is saying here is to really kind of take a step back and, as we move into the rest and relaxation cards and the self-love, is almost like this is kind of like overthinking a little bit. And there is this feeling of, because you're doing a review as to, okay, where am I emotionally and where am I physically, as I'm navigating having to understand where to put my time and energy, where to prioritize as I'm going through the day-to-day tasks, that with the sevens coming through, there is this feeling of, again, allowing spirit to really come in to help clarify. So this is not a time of like us having to force the issue. It's just us stepping back from a place of honesty to, as we move through the week, don't like hyper fixate on anything. Just kind of release and allow spirit to guide you towards, oh yeah, actually I do love the fact that my flowers are blue, and I emotionally connect with that because I've always wanted to be able to show my blue flowers. So there is a little bit of that. Or the opposite, that as you're moving through, you realize, wow, the more that I show this part of myself, the more I don't like blue is where, I don't know if it's strange. This is actually a kind of random analogy that just popped up into my head, but it's almost like, for those of you who have ever tried on a cologne or perfume, and let's say you're testing it on yourself, because what happens when we spray a scented something on our skin, we each have a different base level acidity on our skin. Some people are more acidic, some are less, and when that scent hits our skin, as the alcohol evaporates, well, how that scent actually kind of plays off of our natural skin's acidity level, we get a different smell from that. So for those of you who have ever tested, again, a perfume or a cologne, you'll notice that what it smells like directly out of the bottle, sometimes when you put it on you, it's almost like as you're maybe walking around the store or you're just sitting there smelling it, that all of a sudden you're like, oh gosh, this gives me a headache, or whoa, I totally didn't smell that aspect of it, but I love it. It smells great on me. And there is that little bit of a feeling coming through. It's almost like this testing time of like, okay, step back and just allow your senses to come in. It's not about overthinking. It's about just feeling through this week. And again, allowing the regeneration to happen, knowing that we're in a fresh start type energy, but to allow by the end of the week for you to kind of have that perfume tested and to say, I do like it or I don't like it. And if I don't like it, then I'm going to change things up a little bit and understand that I'm still coming into a place of being victorious because I am now moving forward and growing the way that I want to. And I'm aware of it now. I'm engaged with that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some clarifiers for the rest. Oh, interesting. So the Prince of Wands. Okay, so that's an interesting card to come out with rest and relaxation, because the Prince of Wands is actually the Knight of Wands in this deck. And the Knight of Wands is a Sagittarius energy, which is about going out and just doing what feels good. So there could be a little bit of, I think, wanting to do that, wanting to give yourself that freedom of like, it's almost like the excitement of like, woohoo, here I come, here I come world. And what Spirit's trying to let you know is, just, yes, we're breaking out of the ground, we're showing ourselves to be who we are, but we have to have a little bit of patience. And as much as we want to go out there and get on our horse and do what feels good, we have to allow for, and I love that the sun came out. This is a card of illumination. And it is almost that feeling of like, we have to let the sun come out first to allow, to warm us and give us that nurturing energy to grow. And that energy is going to come from us really taking this week to give ourselves that space, that time, and moving into the next week, it'll be like, okay, I've been sitting in the sun, I've grown this much, I've been able to evaluate how I've grown, and again, be able to stay in flow moving into the following week. All right, so I'm going to pull one final card here just for the closing of the, go here. I'm going to pull a Power of Surrender card just because I love this deck. And we're going to look at the final kind of overarching theme for the week. I love it. Surrender obsessive thinking, which ties in so beautifully with what was coming through. It says, if you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. So as a final point of message, there's something here about really kind of just going through this week easy, understanding that we are all being victorious and moving forward as ourselves and being able to connect with others in a healthy way from that place, and that you don't have to overthink anything this week. It may feel a little busy with the Two of Coins coming in, but kind of where I think as we start to show ourselves and we get a little stressed of like, well, do I like this? And is this what I really want? And all of that, to just let spirit come in. And by the end of the week, you'll know if that perfume or cologne works for you. And it will be, you'll have the energy and the wherewithal then to carry that forward into the next week. All right, everyone, I hope this has been an enjoyable collective message. Again, I will be releasing the Illumination reading starting tomorrow on the 28th, and then every few days after that for the different signs. And if you would like to book your own personal reading, I do have a special going on now through the end of April for my I Am Illuminated 1-hour reading and intuitive review of your numerology and astrology birth chart aspects. And I combine all that together to give you a nice little package so that you can really get to understand yourself, what you're here to spiritually accomplish, and what you have in your arsenal to accomplish that. And then also the why. What motivates you to basically do anything, but also what motivates you to be able to accomplish that spiritual mission. All right, all of my lovely, lovely people out there, I hope again you have a wonderfully illuminating and engaged week ahead. Bye.